All right, Shalom. This is Harawan Ban Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. It's going to be a quick lesson dealing with Amos chapter 9. All right, probably read the whole chapter, go through a quick breakdown. Now, the setting for this story dealing with Amos, I think he was a Judite, if I'm not mistaken, and he taught during the time of Jeroboam II. All right, and he was prophesying about the downfall of the northern kingdom to the Syrians and the Assyrians, ultimately. And he was also prophesying the downfall of these heathen nations that touched the apple of the Lord's eye. And those heathen nations at that time were Ammon, Edom, the Philistines, and the Syrians, which was Arameans. All right, so even today, the Lord has a judgment on Esau, spoken of in Amos chapter 9. So there's a continued judgment that the Lord was going to do. First on, he always said, judgment shall start at his house. So the Lord judged Israel first. Then ultimately, he brought hell upon these nations. But so Amos was sent from Zion, in Jerusalem, to teach the northern kingdom, right? To warn them and prophesy against them. So this is Amos chapter 1, verse 1. And the concept of the story, I think, would be the judgment that's going to come upon these nations today is going to be even worse than the judgment that came upon us. As it was our judgment to drink of the cup, the Lord said they're going to drink the same cup, but 2 times more, which is that slavery, destruction. Amos chapter 1, verse 1. The words of Amos, I wonder what his name means. It says burden. Wow. A prophet of the Lord who prophesied in the northern kingdom, a native of Tekoa in Judah. See, he was a Judite from the land of Tekoa in Judah, near Bethlehem, and a shepherd by trade. So his job, he was a shepherd. Author of the prophetic book of his name. So his name means burdensome. Amos. Amos. All right. That's how you say Amos. Amos. It means burden. It says the words of Amos or Amos, who was among the herdmen of Tekoa. So he was a shepherd. Which he saw concerning Israel in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 years before the earthquake. So this was Jeroboam II. All right. So Jeroboam of Israel and also Uzziah, king of Judah. And this was around 750 BC when Amos was prophesying. Around 750 BC. All right. So now, it says here, and he said, Yahweh will roar from Zion. How they do that is it roared from Zion through Amos, being from Judah, and uttered his voice from Jerusalem, see, and the habitations of the shepherds shall mourn. And the top of Carmel shall wither. And Carmel was a mountain region over there near Samaria, which was the capital of the northern tribe. So it says it's going to wither. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Damascus, and for 4. And Damascus was a battleground for the Arameans, which were the Syrians. You heard the names like Hadad, the first, Hazael, Hadad, the third, or the second, which was named Hadassah. And you had Hadad the third. You also had Hazael. All right, and now the Lord sent Amos to tell Hazael that he was going to be king over Syria, over the Arameans. All right, he was an Aramean, a Ramite, you know, the Elamites today. I mean, not Elamites, the Arameans, Salakia, the Syrians. So, so when Hazael was told that he was going to be king, who was that? I think it was Hadad the second or third. I can't remember. But he killed, I think it was Hadad the third. All right. So Hazael killed Hadad. That's right. Ben Hadad. So he could become king. And he was like, yeah, I ain't gonna ever be king. But he later killed that current ruling king at that time and became king over Syria, and later on came up against the children of Israel. So the Lord had a vengeance against them, against their whole bloodline. All right. I think it was Hadad the third, if I'm not mistaken. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Damascus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have threshed Gilead, see, and with threshing instruments of iron. But I will send a fire into the house of Hazael, see, about their bloodline. So the Lord sent destruction against those Syrians, which shall devour the palaces of Ben-Hadad. All right, see? And I will break also the bar of Damascus, and cut off the inhabitant from the plain of Aven, and him that holdeth the scepter from the house of Eden. And the people of Syria shall go into captivity unto Kir. All right, so those people went into captivity. Those Arameans, they went into captivity. They fell to who was it? They fell to Tiglath-Pileser. All right. They fell to Tiglath-Pileser, the Assyrian. Now it says unto Kir, saith Yahweh, right? So now, the Lord was putting judgment on those nations, putting curses on them. All right, but check this out, what the Lord said about Edom. But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity. And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever, man. See, Esau still keeping their wrath against us. That's why the Lord got these judgments against that nation, Esau. All right. So this whole chapter is a precursor to the judgments that the Lord is going to bring on these nations and have brought upon these nations. But Esau didn't really get there as yet. You know? So let's get to the point. Let's go back to Amos chapter 9. All right. So now, with that being said, it should be able to help to understand this scripture in Amos chapter 9. All right, so let's get into it. So now you got the king Hazael of the Syrians, the Arameans, and then you have Amos prophesying to Israel, and I think who was that? And he also prophesied. I think that was Elisha, that prophesied to Hazael and told him he was going to be king. And during that time, you had Hadazer, right, who was known as Ben-Hadad II. That's who Hazael killed. He killed him around 842 BC. All right, so he became king. And now it'll make sense when the Lord names certain names that he's going to judge in this chapter. All right, so let's get into it. This is Amos chapter 9, verse 1. Go to it. This is Amos chapter 9, verse 1. And I saw the Lord standing upon the altar. Right? I saw the Lord standing upon the altar. And he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, man. Basically, they're saying the Lord is going to destroy the temple. He's going to destroy the northern kingdom. And when it falls, he said they were going to be destroyed in that fall. That's what it means. Like if you was destroying a building over somebody's head, the Lord's saying, let it cut all of them. All right? So ultimately, the Lord was bringing those Syrians and Assyrians against the land of Israel for being wicked. And I will slay the last of them with the sword. So the ones that are still alive, the Lord was going to destroy them by the sword of these nations. And he that fleeth of them shall not flee away. See, nobody was going to be able to escape either. And he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Wow, ain't that something? All right, so wow. So this chapter shows that the Lord is in control of the whole world and all nations and everything. All right. Sorry about that. I'm looking at something real quick. It says, verse 2, though they dig into hell, right? He was really talking about Israel right here. But now, let's get this real quick. Let me go to something real fast. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 5. Now I'll start from 6 just to get to the point. I ain't gotta read the whole thing. And Yahweh thy power will circumcise thy heart. And this is a promise that the Lord made to the children of Israel. And he did circumcise our heart through Yahushua. All right. And now that has happened, this destruction is going to fall, and these curses are going to fall on these nations that had a hand in our downfall. And Yahweh will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So, so the same curses that fall on us, they try to run and hide in the earth and, hide up in the mountains or wherever. Then the Lord said what? He's going to dig them out. So this same thing is going to happen in these times to Esau. They're going to drink of that cup, and also they're going to try to hide in the earth. All right. Let me get this real quick. Revelations. All right. It says here. This is Revelation 6 and 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll. This is about to happen. When it is rolled together as a mushroom cloud, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. So see, so they're gonna be trying to hide in the bunkers, in the ground, and in the mountains, and on try to hide out in the heavens and in space stations. All right, this is Amos chapter 9 verse 2. So the same thing that happened to us is going to happen twofold to these heathens, especially Esau. Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. All right. He's going to send his angels in there to hunt these heathens out. There's going to be a lot of Jakes hiding in there too. Hiding in these bunkers. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence, man. See? So wherever Jake was trying to hide, the Lord was saying he was going to hunt them down and give them their judgment. But today that falls on Esau and these heathens in 2/3, especially Esau that's trying to hide, and they're planning on hiding in their bunkers. They're going to be searched out by the angels, by Leviathan, and by the men of the Lord. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. So they try to hide in the deep, in the ocean. The Lord going to wake up Leviathan. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. Okay? And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good. See, that let you know that the Lord is going to set his eye. He already set his eyes on Jake for evil instead of good. That's how you know it's talking about Israel right here. All right? But also the Lord looks upon the proud times. He's looking at Esau as well. The Lord gave Esau his power. And the Lord can take it away. All right, as a matter of fact. All right, this is Job speaking, Job 2 and 10, talking about his wife. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh, What shall we receive? Good at the hand of Yahweh? And shall we not receive evil or bad? And all this did not Job sin with his lips, right? Because the Most High created evil and he created the good. So the Lord controls that over every nation. Something good happens to a nation, the Most High did that. Let's get this real quick. So Esau got his power from the Most High, but he's going to look over them to do evil to him now with no mercy. The same way he looked over us for good, and then he changed it to looking over us to do evil because our people wouldn't repent. Wisdom of Solomon 6:1. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn, ye that be judges of the end of the earth. And give ear. That's right, Esau's in a position of a judge right now. And give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest. Who shall try your works and search out your counsels? All right. So now today, the Lord is trying Esau's work and searching out their counsels. But originally, this was on Israel. All right, Amos chapter 9, verse 1, all the way to 6. Let's start from 5. Start from 4. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, we went into captivity before our enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. So he couldn't even go into captivity trying to hide. And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good. And the Lord Yahweh, the God of hosts of armies, is he that toucheth the land. See, the Lord saying, hey, touch the temple and it's going to fall. Right? You know, what shall you do when the Lord shall visit you? All right, so the Lord was touching that land, and it shall melt. And all that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned, man, as by the flood of Egypt. So all those nations were risen up against Israel and suffocated it from every side. The Lord brought up Edom, he brought up the Philistines, he brought up the Syrians and the Ammonites against us, and the Assyrians. Are ye not as the children of Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? All right, so he's saying, yo, you think you special? The Lord brought us out of Egypt, and you think I'm gonna continue to do that just because I brought you out of Egypt? You know? Did I skip a part? It's like I think I skipped something. Verse 6. It is he that buildeth his stories in the heavens. So the Lord set up the firmament, which is 7 layers of the firmament. The Lord set up his pillars in the heavens and space, the levels of different universes, and his throne in the heavens. All right, the ladder the connection for Israel into the heavens. It says what? The Lord Yahweh, it is he that buildeth his stories in the heaven, and have founded his truth in the earth, man. So the Lord has set his foundation for Israel in the earth. So he set his army in the heavens, and the Lord also founded his army upon earth. And that foundation starts with the children of Israel. And now the foundation is upon Yahushua and people like Peter through faith. All right. It is he that buildeth his stories in the heavens, and hath founded his troop in the earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name, man. So the Lord calls for the waters of the sea and pours them out upon the earth. What's that? What's it called? A photos. What is that process called, man? You know, the rain cycle. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, I think it's called the water cycle, precipitation. You know, the process of the heavens and the earth, the heavens, space, weather. The Lord created all of that, and even upon this earth, the Lord created that. So everything that's in order, you know, and it's seemingly out of order, the Lord created both. All right. So upon the earth, he's controlling man as well. Matter of fact, let me get that. He's showing that. That's what he's saying. All right. Sirach 18 and 1. He that liveth forever hath created all things in general, good and bad. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he. Who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. So even Esau is obeying the Lord's will. The Lord created the wicked for the day of evil. For he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. All right. So the Lord is sifting amongst the nations and separating us, and he set the bounds of the nations according to the children of Israel. All right. So let's get back to this, verse 7. Are ye not as the children? How much time I got on here? All right. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Basically saying, yo, you just like any other nation upon the earth, man. It's just the Lord set us over them. Deuteronomy 7:6. He didn't choose us because we were greater. The Lord made us great. O children of Israel, saith Yahweh, have I not brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt? Right? He the one that brought us out of Egypt. But Israel takes that and like, yeah, thinking we somebody because of that. No. We somebody because of Yahushua. We should be thankful for that. But our people think that's a reason for them to do what the hell they want. All right, it's called being ungrateful. And the Philistines from Captor, and the Syrians from Ker. See, the Lord brought up the Philistines out of the land of Captor. That was the land of the Philistines, and the Lord brought them out from their land, led them out. The same way he led the Syrians from Ker, same way he led us out of Egypt. That story is unique, but it shows the power of the Lord. All right, but it doesn't make us. I'm gonna just read it, man, because we'll think the Lord is like always watching. You know, he is watching over us, but because he brought us out of Egypt, even though our people were being wicked, they're like, no, the Lord got us. He gonna protect us. He gonna deliver us like he did in Egypt. That's what they were saying at that time. But the Lord was like, no, no, no. It was being wicked, you know. Coming out of Egypt, they were listening to Moses. You know, the ones that listened. The ones that didn't, he destroyed them in the wilderness. So the Lord's the same, man. He didn't change. All right, so that's what he means right there. Are you not like the Philistines and shit, and the Syrians? No difference, really. Except for the laws that he gave us. Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom. See? I'm talking about the whole world. especially Israel at that time. But now today, this will fall on Esau. They're the ruling kingdom. And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahweh. See? At that time, he still kept a remnant of Israel. Just like now, the Lord is going to destroy Esau's kingdom in 2/3, but he still can keep a remnant, that 1/3 of Israel. All right? So he's going to destroy wickedness from off the face of the earth, especially Esau's kingdom. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth, right? So we say, like, what you call it, the sift. When you're sifting for corn through dirt or for gold, he says, as much dirt that gold cometh of, you know, but there's small amounts of gold upon this earth. There's a lot of dirt, a lot of wicked, a lot of heathens, but there's very little elect. All right, but because Israel is elect as a nation above these nations, that gave us no right to disrespect the Lord and be wicked, and blaspheme Him, and idol worship. So it says here, so the Lord has commanded, and He's sifting us among all the nations, separating separating the holy things among them that are profane. That's in Sirach 18:3. It says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. That's them churches, Christians, you know, people like IUIC. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, man. So the Lord is raising us up now. The tabernacle of David, of King David. And close up the breaches thereof, right? So the Lord is going to seal up the way so that only Israel, the elect of Israel, can get this truth. And also He's going to bring peace between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And I will raise up His ruins, right? Because we're in ruins, and now the Lord is raising us up. And I will build it as in the days of old, right? He's going to make us righteous and have a kingdom again. All right? With the laws in our inward part. That they may possess the remnant of Edom. All right? By remnant, it means all the areas that Edom had, all their wealth, you know, and the descendants of Edom, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, which are called by my name, saith Yahweh that doeth this, meaning the Lord called them heathens, and we're going to take all their lands and everything. All right. So, let me see what I can get right here. That's right, man. So we're going to get all those lands. Now it says here, and you can read about what we're going to take, what the Lord's going to give us in Obadiah chapter 1, and towards the end of the verse. He's going to give us all the lands of Esau, of Edom, that's going to belong to us. All right, and anywhere in the world that they control the whole world, man. We're going to get all of it. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, man. And we've been the plowman, and we're going to overtake the reapers. And this is prophesied way back during the time of 750 BC with Amos. All right, I'm a was. that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, man. And the reaper is Esau, that reaped from our slavery and bondage. And the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed. And the mountains, right, man? So who was that? Esau. They the one that set everything up, and they made us work until till and pick the cotton. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. All right, so all the nations are going to fall. All right, so it's going to be what? And the mountains shall be refreshed, talking about the nations of Israel. All right, we dropping us that new doctrine, meaning refreshed. And wine represents wisdom or the doctrine. And all the hills shall melt. All right, and all the nations are going to fall and be destroyed. All the kingdoms. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel. See, not just back then, but again, the Lord's going to bring that to mind and his remembrance. He's bringing it up again. Look at the talk that's going on in the media right now. Everything's about slavery and what these heathens did to us. The Lord is rousing up the spirit of these jakes. And I will bring again, and he's sending it as a haunt upon Esau. Just like the songs of the ravening wolf, Benjamin. They sing them songs of freedom, you know. And it becomes like a howling wolf that's an eerie haunt to these heathens, these Edomites. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities. All right, and inhabit them. See, we actually going to inhabit that land again. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. And they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith Yahweh thy power. See, we got pulled up out of that land again. We went back in there and rebuilt it because it was a downfall from that point, from 750 going up to 701 with the Assyrians, then all the way down to 586 with Zedekiah and Nebuchadnezzar, the Assyrian Babylonian. And then we went back into that land around 538, 536 under Cyrus the Great. All right, under the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, he sent us back into that land all the way until the wall was built around 445 BC during the time of Nehemiah. All right, and Esdras. So we went back into that land and rebuilt the temple, but it was destroyed again in 70 AD. See that? But we ruled over the Edomites with John Hyrcanus. But the scriptures say right here, I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land which I have given them. See, that's a future prophecy, man, about these times that we're in today, where we're never going to be pulled up out of that land again, uprooted. We're going to be able to travel, go into the universe, all over the earth, but nobody's going to take our foundation or our land from us ever again. All right. Matter of fact, let me get this, because it kind of fits. All right, because Amos, remember what he saw in the beginning of this verse? I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and that was spiritual and physical, meaning first it was a spiritual vision, but then it became physical, it became manifest. The Lord was literally standing there to judge, like to destroy Israel. The same way now. It was a vision right now, but eventually it's going to be manifest, and people are going to see the Lord destroying this place. All right? So this is Ezekiel 10:1. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them as it were a sapphire stone, looked like lapis lazuli. All right, this is a type of stone. As the appearance of the likeness of a throne. See that? And he spake unto the man clothed with linen, and said, Go in between the wheels, even under the cherub, which is the chariots, and fill thine hand with coals of fire from between the cherubs, and scatter them over the city. And he went in my sight. Now let's get to another one. All right. Isaiah 6:1. That's more clear. It says Isaiah 6:1, because this matches up with Amos chapter 9 towards the end of the verse, because the children of Israel are going to rule. All right, and the Lord is going to be standing over the altar. Isaiah 6:1 is spiritual, you know. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple, man. This was around the 7th century BC, around that same time with Amos. All right. I think Isaiah was around a little bit after Amos. Well, he's a contemporary, but he was prophesying around that same time. All right, so they saw the Lord sitting upon, Isaiah saw the Lord sitting upon the throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. That's talking about the children of Israel. So Yahweh Shai is going to be lifted up, and his train, representing his people, his kingdom, is going to fill this whole earth. Above it stood the seraphims. All right, each one has 6 wings, talking about the chariots, the angels. And they had 6 chariots with them. All right. With twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. And you look at that as a military formation. And one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is Yahweh of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. So, see, that's spiritual, man. That's physical, but it's also spiritual at the same time. All right. So, yeah, man, Amos chapter 9, verse 1. And I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, Smite the lintel of the door. And the lintel represents, you got a candle, and then you got a little plate up under it, or a disc, or you got a doorway or columns, and at the top you got some type of disc or something holding it together, like a hinge. The Lord is saying, bring it down. Bring down the nation of Israel at that time. You know, before he started coming up against Judah for being wicked. So this happened around 750 BC, but it was a prophecy of that time, and the nations touching the apple of the Lord's eye, especially Edom, and ultimately for a judgment that's going to play out really in these times, according to the end of Amos chapter 9, where it speaks about the Lord bringing again the captivity of Israel, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, meaning everything that belonged to Edom, we're going to own it. And of all the heathen, see the Philistines, the Ammonites, the Assyrians, the Syrians, see the Lord going to pay them all back. They always say, what? That's right, man. This is Revelation 19 and 12. All right. This is 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, talking about the Lord's chariot. All right, righteousness too. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true. So this person, this being, Yahushua, is called also faithful and true. And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and he had nothing but judgment in his eyes, you know. And on his head were many crowns. So he's gonna take all the crowns, all the rulership from these nations. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, right? Because only the elect gonna get to experience that part of the Lord that nobody experienced yet, besides him being true, faithful, righteous. What about him being glorified? All right, nobody's gonna understand that but the elect. Okay. So yeah, man, he's gonna take many crowns in one fatal swoop. All right, that we may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by the Lord's name that doeth this. Meaning Yahweh said he called them heathens. That's what he's saying right there. All right, so I'm gonna end it there, man. That's a breakdown on Amos chapter 9. All right, 750 BC. Amos from tribe of Judah was sent to Samaria and all the areas of Israel, northern kingdom, even up to Carmel, to tell them of their future downfall if they didn't listen. So the Lord brought all them nations against us, especially King Hazael, when the Lord raised him up in power. All right, the Syrian. Okay, so I'm gonna end it there, man, because yeah, I'm getting kind of into it again. So I'm gonna say, Shalom.